I watched this shooting in Buffalo.
Thank you for that report. And that suspect surrendered to police this afternoon, and within hours he was in court to be charged with first-degree murder.
Now, if he's convicted, he faces life in prison without parole. 2 on your side's Ron Plants was in the courtroom.
18-year-old Peyton Gendron sat quietly as he waited for his arraignment before Buffalo City Court Chief Judge Craig Hanna. He was barefoot, wearing a paper cutaway gown with one side that fell off his shoulder as he then stood before the judge. When asked if he understood his rights, he answered simply yes and appeared coherent with his court-appointed attorney standing by his side as his case was then referred to a grand jury. Gendron, who is again 18 years old, from Conklin, New York, near Binghamton, currently stands accused of 1 count of first-degree murder. The judge granted a forensic exam, which is standard to determine competency with a psychological assessment. He is being held without bail. Prosecutors at the local and federal levels stress these points in his case so far.
This individual has been arraigned on murder in the first degree, which is the highest murder charge in New York State. Carries with it a sentence of life without parole. We have taken the appropriate steps right now to get him behind bars, and that's what we did. We are now investigating terrorism charges, other murder charges, along with working with our partners in the federal government so that they can perhaps file charges as well.
The United States Attorney's Office will be investigating this case along with our law enforcement partners as a hate crime and domestic violent extremism. I'm in touch with the highest levels of the Department of Justice. Resources will be put behind this investigation. Whatever we need, we will not stop until justice is brought to this community.
Gendron's court-appointed attorney, Brian Parker, did not wish to comment following the arraignment, but did acknowledge his client will probably face additional charges beyond the current single first-degree murder charge. Gendron will be back in city court for a felony hearing next Thursday morning.
And I already have my stance. If you take a life, you get your life taken. I don't care if you was bullied. I don't care if your parents abused you. I don't care if that girl didn't text you back. I don't care if you caught your father fucking your dog. None of that matters. You willingly decided to take somebody else's life or a group of people's lives, so you deserve your life taken. But it's funny now, after all this time of not saying a word, Twitter activists are losing their mind. They spewing all the hot takes necessary. Look, another racist white supremacist being handled with gentle care after slaughtering at least 10 with an AR-15 in a Buffalo supermarket. Rest in peace to those who lost their lives in Buffalo, New York today at the hands of yet another white supremacist with an assault rifle. The U.S. is insufferable. This man wrote an iron sight of the gun, wrote a manifesto, streamed it on Twitch. This is America. Y'all don't understand. Tops on Jefferson is in the hood, in Buffalo, probably the blackest neighborhood in Western New York, and somebody drove over 4 hours to come up and shoot it up, literally because of skin color. A damn 18-year-old white kid live streamed himself murdering 10 black people on Twitch, and the blood is on so many hands. I want to say what I actually feel Tucker Carlson, Fox News, ONN, and so many others deserve, but I'll lose my account immediately. Sending prayers to all the families affected by the Buffalo shooting and having to deal with its unspeakable and atrocious act. The world is becoming a scarier and scarier place, especially for black people. It's scary for everyone, somebody commented, and the most brain dead thing I've seen. Since this was a race massacre, you should probably sit this one out. White supremacists are the #1 threat to national security. America is a racist country. I never expect you to understand, but it's not the same for everyone. He meant what he said, and it's true. I'm pretty sure by the time I upload this, Joanne Reed probably said something, Don Lemon said something. All the activists are buck jumping, trying to fight each other for the hottest take about this. It's point blank and simple. This piece of shit deserves to rot. They don't deserve any courtesy, no niceness, no leniency, none of that. They willingly took people's lives. Now they deserve the ultimate punishment. Point blank, period. And it's just funny to me that these same people who are tripping over themselves to make sure that you know white people bad, black people always victims, were nowhere to be found a fucking month ago.
Now to the man charged with a mass shooting on the subway train last month. He appeared in federal court today. Police say Frank James shot 10 people and injured about 20 others when he set off smoke canisters and started shooting in Sunset Park, Brooklyn.
At his hearing today, he pled not guilty. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles live in downtown Brooklyn with what happened inside the court today. Darla.
David, Frank James today said he's doing pretty good when he was asked how he was doing by a federal court judge this morning, or this afternoon rather. In fact, there was a little bit of an extended dialogue between the two of them, and more than you might typically find during this kind of routine federal proceeding. In federal court Friday afternoon, Frank James was asked 8 separate times if he understood what was going on, each time answering yes. The 62-year-old Brooklyn subway shooting suspect appearing before the Eastern District of New York after being formally indicted on 2 counts earlier this week. The most serious of the 2, terrorist attack and other violence against a mass transportation system. James today entering a plea of not guilty.
I hear shotgun, duck, 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 like that. He shot me again.
Investigators say James deployed a smoke bomb and fired off 33 shots into a crowded subway car on a Manhattan-bound N train last month. But questions about his mental health arose after online videos surfaced during the manhunt.
I've been through a lot of where I can say I wanted to kill people.
In court today, James was told the purpose of today's proceedings is that you understand the charges the United States has brought against you. He was then asked a series of questions to assess his mental state. What is your name? Frank Robert James. Where were you born? Bronx, New York. What is your educational background? GED, some certifications for trade school, various certifications for the machine tool industry. Prosecutors say the attack was entirely premeditated by James. His attorney, however, has said that he is the one who called police and told them where he was. In court today, the defense attorney was asked, "Do you have any doubts to the defendant's competency?" The answer, no. The same question directed to federal prosecutors. The answer again was no.
So I'm going to ask this question after seeing a bunch of fake hate crimes perpetuated by black people, black students writing racial slurs on high school walls, trying to get everybody to talk about race, and all these different people not speaking up or trying to say it's a white person that's the perpetrator of a shooting, when in reality it's a black person that's the perpetrator. And when I had to sit and watch a security cam footage of a black man getting out of his car and getting walked down on and shot in the back of the head by another black person, do Black Lives matter, or do Black Lives only matter when the narrative fits? Because it's interesting how I listed all these things and these same activists were nowhere to be found. When you talk about what happened in New York a couple of weeks ago, all these same activists were trying to spin it as white terrorism when it was a black person who had a big manifesto and I think a YouTube channel about how much they hate white people. How is it you have all these examples of black people doing bad, taking lives of other black people, and these same activists just think it's another day in the hood? They think it's just another day for black people. Oh, black people are naturally killing black people. The dumbass woman who tried to make it a thing of black people going around knifing each other, all because she couldn't cope with the idea of a black woman, a little black girl, taking it upon herself to be a split second away from stabbing another person, and that got stopped because a cop shot her. All you people like to jump for the white guy. You want to stand tall, you want to stand proud, you want to pretend to be heroes, but you're inconsistent as fuck. Black Lives Matter, all that in your bio, all that merch you got, all these things you're doing to try to appease a bunch of black people that's calling you racist, all the black people doing that because you're pathetic and you want to try to seem like the hero, you are fucking embarrassing, because you have communities of people fighting each other and you don't say a word. You got communities taking the lives of other communities and you not saying a word. You got rappers with the RICO charge and you saying free my nigga. That's embarrassing. And the only time you seem to care about the lives of black people is when they're out having their lives being lost by white people. There's a problem there. There's an issue there.
And here's what we know. At 9 p.m. last night, a gunman shot 3 people at MLK in Highland right by Deer District. The victims included a 16-year-old girl and a 29 and 26-year-old man. 2 different men there, 29 and 26-year-old. Police arrested a 19-year-old man, and everyone is expected to survive. Now at 10:30 at Water in Juneau, a 20-year-old man was shot and he is expected to survive. And then at 11:09, again near Water in Juneau, 17 people were shot. The victims' ages range from 15 to 47. Police arresting 10 people and confiscating 10 firearms. We just learned that number was updated from 9 to now 10. And we have the police and fire dispatch recordings describing the scene as the violence unfolded. And this is from the mass shooting near Water in Juneau.
Highland Command Dispatch updated in this location. We have multiple people struck by gunfire. All the patients that MPD has identified are being attended to. They will all be transported shortly as soon as we can get transport units to arrive.
And it strengthens my point that Black Lives Matter is not a real thing. It's not anything that people take serious. It's not anything people will actually hold to task and actually stand up and fight for. Because if I were to lose my life by a black person right now, it's just niggas killing niggas. But if a white person came in and shot me in the back of my head, I got t-shirts, I got hashtags, I got people who hate me caring about me. And that's fucking embarrassing. That makes me sad. That makes me feel deep down in my stomach, my black life don't matter. And that's fucking embarrassing because my black life does matter. It's just on Twitter where the activists try so hard to get likes. Oh, the only ones that matter are the narratives. On TV, oh, the only ones that matter are the narratives. Here's where I'm gonna end this. Barrington Martin is somebody on Twitter that shares the same opinion that I do. I think it's so funny that black victims to gun violence are only given empathy when the shooter is white. When the shooter is black, these tweets you see are non-existent. But because the Buffalo shooter fits their political narrative, they're piling it on. And guess what one black individual decided to respond with? 4 letters, 1 word, coon, because that's how some of you pathetic bastards think. You think another day in the neighborhood is absolutely fine. Your heart don't ache when a black life is being lost by a black person. Yet, when you have a black man calling out the political narrative of people only jumping when a white person is the obvious bad, your response is to just say they a coon. Your response is to say they bootlicking. Your response is to say, oh, you cherry picking for the white man. No, they're pointing out how you people like to say Black Lives Matter don't show up for black lives every single time. Because guess what? Black people killing black people, that's something that happens almost every day. Go in any of these communities you call disenfranchised, turn on local news, and you gonna see that same problem happen every single day. Where are you? What are you doing? How are you stepping up? Are you doing anything to help? Are you doing anything of substantial greatness to a community? Or are you just getting on Twitter trying to sing songs and protest how we got a problem with white people? And guess what? To wrap it all up, it's just funny how the narrative for people who call that out is, oh, you're dancing for the white man, when you motherfuckers only show up when a white person is the perpetrator. If this ain't the clearest example of black lives not mattering, convenient ones do, then I don't know what else is gonna make you realize that. I don't know how many other times I could point out black people doing stupid things and it gets a pass or it doesn't get the same mainstream media attention. But as soon as a white person does the exact same thing, now it's an issue for everybody in America. Now we got to discuss it. Now we got to talk about it. Now it got to be the thing we instill in everybody 24/7. We got to spend 7 days out of the next week talking about this because this is the only thing that they care about. They care about it when it's a white person doing the wrong. But when it's a black person, now we're not going to see that on CNN. We're not going to see Don Lemon get on stage and be like, oh, we have a problem with the black beauty. We're not going to see Joanne Reed say any of this shit. It's embarrassing. So once again, for the 1000th time, black lives don't matter. Convenient ones do. Get the fuck out of here.